Good evening, everyone. As you can see, I am washing my hair, but right now I'm giving it a treatment. And yeah, I was just reading about the food shortage, especially with the SNAP, the people that receive SNAP, the food stamps and stuff like that. They're not going to be receiving it in November, and only God knows how long that's going to be. But they're saying the food banks are going to be packed. They're going to be seeing new faces, due to this situation. I don't know what to tell y'all. I really don't know. But I have been saying, folks, y'all need to hit the pantries. Y'all need to hit the pantries. But I guess most of y'all weren't listening. So now we are going to see everyone at the food banks. Whether you got food stamps or not, everyone is going to be showing up there to get that food. Well, thank God for the food banks. I'm dead serious. Thank God for the food banks. They've been there. Just that a lot of people, they stick their noses up in the air and they don't care about that kind of stuff. But when times hit hard, yeah, they be running out to the food banks. They will be running out to the food banks um like I've been saying. They're gonna run out there. They're not gonna walk. They're gonna run to the pantries. They're not gonna be sticking their nose up in the air anymore or dodging around the corner to see if their neighbor is watching them or if their neighbor is there to see what they're doing. The neighbor is not there to see you. The neighbor is there to get their food too. So people, y'all need to stop thinking like that. Go out there and get your stuff. I'm dead serious. And at the food banks, you don't have to pay for the food. That's the good thing about it. You don't have to pay for none of that food. My mom, she passed away, but my mom used to say this all the time. She always used to say, sis, they called me sis. I'm the oldest, so I'm big sis. My grandfather on her side always said the oldest should take care of the others. This is what my grandfather used to say. But it is a task. I'm telling you, it is a task because you get taken advantage of when you are the oldest. But anyway, glad I was there to help, even though most of them, or if not all of them, didn't really appreciate me. But it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, my mama used to always say they're going to be days like this. They're going to be hard times coming. You know what I'm saying? And I bet you wherever she's at right now, in heaven or hell or wherever, she's looking down on us and she's seeing everything that she said is actually happening. You know what I'm saying? And I always remember those words. That's why I don't take for granted of anything or anyone, and I try to be frugal. I try to spend wisely. Sometimes I go overboard, but I try to spend wisely. I try to be good to people. I try to help people. Not that I try, that's just who I am. I have a kind heart, a clear mind. I have a big heart. An ex-supervisor of mine told me, hey, Thompson, Michael Thompson, he told me, I have a heart that's bigger than this world. This little old heart that I have in here is bigger than this world. I thought that was so sweet hearing that from him. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciated that nice compliment. And yeah, my mama always said there was going to be days like this, and we are here. We are here. I don't know. We're just going to have to cope, hang in there, pray for better. I'm dead serious. I was um I was just looking at my YouTube, and this young man, African American, I guess, he was saying, this is the United States of America. People shouldn't be hungry here. People should not be hungry here. Well, young man, I just want to put my 2 cents in. Whether this is the United States of America or the United Kingdom or wherever, everywhere is having their hard times. Everywhere, everywhere. So, what can we do? We just have to hang in there. Try to keep our minds together. Try not to get depressed. Try not to get anxiety. Try not to be stressed out. We just have to try to survive. To survive. You know what I'm saying? Survival. So I'm going to end my video right now. Y'all have a pleasant evening. We're going into night. Don't forget, Sunday is daylight savings time. Excuse me. The clock is going to go backwards. Yeah, I think it's going to go backwards. Yeah, it's going to go backwards because forward means that it will be brighter outside when the hours are like, like if it's 8 o'clock in the morning, it's bright. So if you put it forward, it's going to be even brighter. And, we're going into winter, we're into fall. So, how it changes, because right now around 6 o'clock, it gets dark. So it's going to go backwards. You know what I'm saying? I think. I think that's how it go. I always get confused with it anyway. You know what I'm saying? I always do. It's not because of my age. I just always get confused with it. But I do think it's go backwards. I think that's what I read. Well, wait till Sunday. Your phone, the time would change on your phone automatically. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a clock in your house or something, or the microwave or the stove, you have to change it. I think the microwave and the clock on the stove. Yeah. You do have to change it. But if you have Alexa, it changes automatically, and your phone changes automatically. So let me go now because I have to wash this stuff out of my hair. You know what I'm saying? Out of my head. So have a good evening, folks. And still keep praying for all of those in Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and the other places that have the hurricane, that had the hurricane and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's overwhelming. It is. Oh, and I was just reading about this old lady. Oh my God, such a sweet lady. See, the little dog is out. That's Audrey. Getting back to what I was saying. I think she went to the shelter and they refused her. She had her dog. They refused her because of the dog. So sad. So she stayed outside. She stayed out with her dog out in the weather. You know what I'm saying? And the dog was hurt. The leg or something was hurt. And she didn't have no food. She was trying to look for dry food or something like that. And a police officer met her. And he took her to some place. I think it's I don't know if it's a place for animals or what, but they took her there and they took care of the dog. They bandaged up his leg or her leg or whatever. Cute little doggy. And, and I believe they got her something to eat too, but she was more concerned about the dog than herself. That is so sweet. Oh my God. If that's not the sweetest thing, I don't know what is it. Because most people don't like dogs, and most people would leave the dog out there in the weather, in the bad weather. You know what I'm saying? Don't care. People don't care. But this old lady, she's so sweet. She will always be blessed. I was reading the comments, some people think she have a mental issue or whatever. She speaks very well. Some people said you can tell that she was overseas or whatever. You don't have to speak well to be overseas, to have gone overseas. You know what I'm saying? You can tell she has an accent, but she speaks very well. She speaks proper English. That's because this lady used to read. She reads. She probably still read. You know what I'm saying? You have to read to improve that. You don't have to go overseas anywhere to be knowledgeable. No, you don't. I know a lot of folks that dropped out of high school and all of that kind of stuff. Some didn't even go to high school, and they speak so proper. I am telling you. But may God bless this lady. You know what I'm saying? They didn't show her face, and I hope in prayer that she caught up to her family or someone, and because she said she was going to be going somewhere. I don't know. Maybe that's why the comments was saying, you could tell that she has some kind of mental problem going on. But God will protect her. God will take care of her and her dog. So if y'all see any dogs out there, stray dogs or whatever kind of dogs, just be careful, but just try to see if y'all can help the dog or the cat or the pig or whatever kind of animal. You know what I'm saying? Not just in this time, hurricane time or whatever, but you should always look out for the animals. If you see a stray dog, don't go up to it because it might bite you. But try to call the ASPCA and see if they can come and get the dog. But don't just walk away and leave it right there. And dogs are men's best friend. You know what I'm saying? Man best friend. Excuse me. They know when you're sick. They can tell you. They know when you're sick. They're great companions. I was never into dogs all my life. I'm telling you, I had gotten bit by a dog long time ago when I was in Barbados. I was a young girl. It wasn't a very bad bite. I didn't catch nothing. And from then on, I was always scared of dogs. But it's so funny, I got older and I've been around my granddaughter's dog, Mr. Hustle. I call him Mr. Hustle. His name is Hustle, but I call him Mr. Hustle because he's the man of the house. And I fell in love with this French bulldog. I swear to God, I fell in love with Mr. Hustle. And that's how I am. I have my heart is so soft. I fall in love with the simplest things. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was a little girl in Barbados, I used to catch lizards, because we used to play with them. We used to take, the sugar cane leaf. In the middle of it, it have this long stem. I don't know if you call it that, but we'll peel the green part off, and we'll take that and we'll make a little loop and try to catch the lizard. You know what I'm saying? And me and my brothers and them, we would play like have the lizards fight with each other. We used to do that. And mind you, when I was little, I didn't really have no toys. I guess that's how poor we were. We didn't grow up with toys and dolls and all that kind of stuff, didn't have it. And it didn't really matter, in a lot of places, people, you know, they raise their kids different. You know, some kids, I think in Germany, because I have nieces and nephews that are Germans, you know, from my brother's side, from my brother. And you know, the babies, you know, they played with the pots and the pans, you know, the little utensils that you have in the house. Those were their toys. And they probably still do the same thing, you know. People are not, you know, growing up, it wasn't like how it is Americanized, like how these kids, they get all these toys and stuff for Christmas and stuff like that, you know. I don't know about now in the islands and stuff like that, because you know everybody now is updated with this and that, want to have this and that. But yo, we used to play with the simplest things. I'm telling you, the simplest things. My mother and them, they had no money to be going out there buying all these toys, dolls, and all that. I didn't really care about stuff like that. I never really did. First time I got a doll, it was from my uncle. He was up here in the United States. That's the one that helped us to come up here. I was grown. I was a grown. I was about I think I was about 10 or 11. I was kind of big. I never really cared about the damn doll. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty, but I never played with the doll. Never be combing the hair, nothing like that. I wasn't into stuff like that. I never had it when I was growing up. So what was the point? But I thank him for it. You know, he's still alive. He's 90 something years old. He lives in Barbados now. And, you know, he's getting down in age. He lived his life. But yeah, you know, I'm telling you, that's how it was, you know. So and I will always treasure those moments, you know, playing with the little simplest things. Little mice. I know y'all gonna say this bee is crazy. No, I'm not. I used to play with the little mice, the little baby mice. You know, they look like blue, cause blue and pink, cause you know they skin. The little baby mice. I used to play with them. When I see them, I used to play with them. You know what I'm saying? But I never played with them when the big mama was around, because the mama would bite you and I didn't want to get sick. But you know, when I find them, you know, I used to always like try to pamper them, like find a little place where I can put them where they could be, you know, like how you would treat a little baby. I didn't hold it in my hand and do all of this crazy stuff, but you know, yeah. Call me crazy if y'all would. I'm not crazy. But yeah, you know, the simplest little things we used to play with. And you know, as far as snakes, I never seen no snakes in Barbados. Well, I already told a story about that in a prior video. I heard that they had snakes years and years and years ago, but you know, they brought in a mongoose and the mongoose got rid of them. But over the years, you know, people, you know, they get pet snakes and shit like that. So, you know, they probably would sneak them in the island. But it's really hard for them to do that, you know, because the people at the airport, you know, they on the ball. They on the ball. You know, but I don't know if there's any little pets over there, excuse me, but as far as that, you know, I never grew up around snakes, so you know, of course I would be scared of snakes. But if I grew up around them, I probably would have been playing with them too and not be scared of them. But that's what I'm scared of. And as far as alligators and stuff like that, they don't have them in Barbados, not that I know of. I don't know. I never heard of them, you know, unless they have them in the zoo or whatever. But not, I don't know, not on the island. But Jamaica got crocodiles and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me, I was so shocked hearing that. I was even shocked hearing about them having snakes, because the way how I see Kalas TV and the guys and everybody be walking around, going out there in all the bushes and excuse me, shit. I was like, when I heard they have snakes, I was like, what? I know they said Trinidad has a lot of snakes because my daughter's grandmother, she used to go over there. She went over there before, and she said that island is full with snakes. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't fancy cats. I just don't fancy cats. Those creatures don't like me, and I do believe a cat is a woman. Well, they have the male, but the cat is like a woman. And the eyes, them piercing eyes that they look at you. Do you know if you be mean to a cat, the cat is going to be mean to you? Seriously. My brother used to have a pet cat, and this cat knew that I didn't like it. So the cat used to go under my bed. We used to live in New York at 1601 Union Street. This cat used to go under my bed, believe it or not, and put his little stool under there. Oh my God. I hated it. I used to have to clean under my bed. This cat, I don't know, it hated me. So I used to always chase it away. So the more I chased it away, it hated the shit out of me. Excuse me for cursing. Only thing the cat didn't do was pee under my bed, because when a cat pee, oh my God, the scent doesn't go away. It takes a long time. You have to use more than ammonia to get rid of that scent. Thank God it didn't pee on nothing of mine. But the cat just used to shit under my bed all the damn time. So you know what I did one day? Now, mind you, I didn't know these things were so smart. I said, okay, I'm gonna fix your behind. So I took the cat and I walked the cat all the way down. It was a lot of blocks, all the way from Union Street, all the way down to Empire. Was it Empire Boulevard? Is it Empire? No, all the way down to Church Avenue. For those of you that familiar with New York, Brooklyn, I walked the dog all the way down there, and that is a long walk. You have to take the bus and stuff, but I walked the dog all the way down there. Not the dog, excuse me, the cat. Would you believe when I got back home? Because I walked back. But I walked a different route. Not the same route that I took the cat down on. Would you believe when I got back home, guess who met me at the door when I opened the door? The cat. The cat was at the door. When I opened the door, the cat was right there looking at me. I was just too through. I was like, how the heck you got back here? How you found your way back here? But someone told me later on in life, they remember, or they sent, or whatever. I don't know. I didn't take the cat the same route. But they are smart creatures. They are so damn smart. Dogs too. Dogs are very smart. So I don't see how or why anyone would do those kind of things to animals. I still don't like cats, but I don't be mean to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't be mean to them. Because my sister-in-law, she has a cat. And the cat, it comes over. When I went to visit them, the cat comes over by my foot. And then the cat looks me dead in the eye, straight in the eye. But, I don't chase it or nothing like that. I be nice. I be nice. But when I spend the night at their house, oh my God. I slept on the couch. But my brother, he had one of those blow up beds, because they had recently moved there. So they didn't have all their stuff in the place. So he had a blow up bed. So he laid it out on the floor in the living room. So guess what? He said I could sleep on there if I wanted to. But I was kind of skeptical of sleeping on it because I always heard that cats, I saw movies too. Cats go, like if you have a baby, you shouldn't let the cat be like real close to it because the cat would draw the, like take the baby's breath away from it. You know what I'm saying? It will put its mouth to the baby mouth and draw up all the breath out of the baby, like that. I saw a movie like that and I heard that's true. I don't know how true that is. I have to Google that when I get off this phone. But that thing stayed in my head. So I was scared to sleep on that daggone bed on the floor. So check it out. I went and I laid on the bed. I was watching the TV. So that thought came in my head. I was laying there. No, it came in my head because as I was laying on the bed, the cat came over right by my face, just came right by my face and was looking dead in my eyes. I said to myself, oh, hell no, you're not going to draw the breath out of me tonight. You're not killing me tonight. So I got up and I climbed right back up on that couch and I went to sleep. But I kept my eyes looking at him, because I didn't know if the cat was going to jump up on, they are very slick. They're clever. I'm telling you, they're so smart. So, after, I dozed off. I covered my head with the blanket and I went to sleep. Yeah. So, let me go. Thanks for listening to my crazy stories. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all I have stories. So, y'all have a pleasant evening. I had to give somebody a laugh out there, because there's so much sadness and so much this and that going on, and now with the hurricane, all these people losing their houses and don't have nowhere to live, sleep, eat, whatever. Sometimes you have to tell a joke so people could just laugh. Just laugh. You can't stay sad all the time. No matter what your situation is, you have to laugh. Laugh out loud. Laugh so loud. Laugh so hard that the whole wide world will hear you. Because that's what I do. I laugh all the time. Oh my God. Well, let me go now. Peace. And you see the moon right there?